My 20s were a wild ride, filled with excitement, exploration, and a fair share of mistakes. Looking back, I wish I had known then what I know now about managing my finances, making smart career choices, and focusing on personal growth. It's a decade where you're figuring out who you are, what you want to do with your life, and how to navigate the real world. Many people in their 20s face similar challenges. We're often trying to balance education, career, and social life, all while trying to stay afloat financially. It's easy to get caught up in the moment and make decisions that might not be in our best interest. I've been there too, making impulsive decisions, taking unnecessary risks, and learning the hard way. My 20s were a time of trial and error. I made mistakes that cost me time, money, and energy, but I also learned valuable lessons that have shaped me into the person I am today. One of the biggest mistakes I made was not having a clear financial plan. I was living paycheck to paycheck, with no savings and a ton of debt. It was stressful and overwhelming. Another mistake I made was not investing in myself. I was so focused on short-term gains that I neglected my long-term goals. I didn't take the time to develop new skills or build meaningful relationships. I also struggled with finding a career path that truly fulfilled me. I changed jobs multiple times, trying to find the right fit, but it wasn't until I took a step back and reflected on my values and passions that I found a career that truly aligned with who I am. Lastly, I was reckless with my spending habits. I loved to travel and enjoy life, but I often did so at the expense of my financial stability. I remember one particular instance where I maxed up my credit card on a spontaneous trip, only to realize later that I couldn't afford it. It was a hard lesson to learn, but it's one that has stuck with me. The most impactful mistake that changed my perspective on life and finances was realizing the importance of living below my means. I had to experience financial hardship to understand the value of saving and investing. It was a tough lesson, but it taught me to prioritize my spending and make conscious financial decisions. First up, I didn't save enough money. I wish I had started saving earlier, but it's never too late to start. So, make sure you're setting aside some cash for your future self. Secondly, I didn't invest in my education. I wish I had invested in my education more, so learn from my mistake and keep learning. Thirdly, I didn't travel enough. I wish I had traveled more, so don't make the same mistake and explore the world. Fourthly, I didn't take care of my health. I wish I had prioritized my health more, so make sure you're taking care of yourself. Finally, I didn't prioritize my relationships. I wish I had focused more on my relationships, so don't make the same mistake and nurture your connections. I've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt, or in this case, the debt collector's letter. Learning financial lessons through personal experiences can be tough, but it's often the most effective way to gain valuable insights. My journey with money has been a wild ride, filled with ups and downs, and I'm here to share some of those hard-learned lessons with you. We've all been tempted by the latest gadgets, trendy clothes, or exotic vacations, but overspending can quickly drain our bank accounts. I recall times when I blew my entire paycheck on weekend getaways, only to be left with nothing for the rest of the month. The consequences of overspending can be severe. Think high-interest debt, damaged credit scores, and a serious hit to your financial stability. Lack of savings can be just as crippling, leaving you vulnerable to unexpected expenses. I remember the stress of not having an emergency fund when my car broke down, and I had to shell out for expensive repairs. Poor investment choices can also lead to financial heartache. I once invested in a questionable stock that ended up tanking, leaving me with a significant loss. These challenges can be overwhelming, but they're also valuable learning experiences. I used to be a master of living paycheck to paycheck. I'd spend my entire salary on non-essentials, and then wonder why I couldn't afford to pay my bills. The stress was palpable, and I often found myself lying awake at night, worrying about how I'd make ends meet. One particularly painful experience was when I maxed up my credit cards during the holiday season, only to realize I couldn't afford to pay them off. The anxiety was suffocating, and I felt like I was drowning in debt. I learned the hard way that overspending can lead to a vicious cycle of debt and financial stress. But I also learned that it's possible to break free from that cycle. My overspending habits were fueled by a desire to keep up with the Joneses. I'd see my friends' luxurious lifestyles on social media and feel pressure to keep up. but I soon realized that their seemingly perfect lives were just a facade. They were likely struggling with their own financial demons, and I was just as lost. When I hit rock bottom, I knew I had to make a change. I started tracking my expenses, creating a budget, and prioritizing my spending. It wasn't easy, but it was liberating. Lesson number 1. Always have a rainy day fund. Trust me, you'll be glad you have one when unexpected expenses pop up. Lesson number 2. Live within your means. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses. It's about being smart with your money. Lesson number 3. Pay yourself first. Set aside a portion of your income for savings and investments. It's important to prioritize your financial future. Lesson number 4. Be mindful of your spending. Keep track of where your money is going and make sure it aligns with your goals. Lesson number 5. Invest in your education. Continuous learning is key to success in any field. I still remember the day I realized I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck with nothing to show for it. I had a mountain of debt, no savings to speak of, and the stress was taking a toll on my relationships and overall well-being. It was like being stuck in a never-ending cycle, with no clear way out. That feeling of being trapped was suffocating. I felt like I was drowning in debt, with creditors calling left and right, and I had no idea how I was going to make ends meet. I had tried budgeting, cutting expenses, and even picking up side hustles, but nothing seemed to stick. I was exhausted and felt like I was barely keeping my head above water. Looking back, I realized that I was making some critical mistakes. I was focusing on cutting expenses, but I wasn't addressing the root cause of my financial struggles. I was also comparing myself to others, which only led to feelings of inadequacy and frustration. It wasn't until I shifted my focus that things started to change. The more I struggled, the more I realized that I needed a new approach. I needed something that would help me break free from the cycle of debt and stagnation. That's when I stumbled upon the one thing that would change everything for me. That one thing was developing a long-term investment strategy. It sounds simple, but it was a game changer. I started by educating myself on the basics of investing, and then I began to take small steps, investing a little bit each month. It wasn't easy, and there were times when I doubted myself, but I was determined to see it through. As I continued to invest and learn, I started to see my finances transform. I was paying off debt, building savings, and even starting to build wealth. It was an incredible feeling, like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I felt like I was finally in control of my finances. The moment I realized I was on the path to financial freedom was exhilarating. I had been tracking my progress, and I saw that I had reached a point where my investments were generating enough passive income to cover my living expenses. Now, I've got some exciting news to share with you. I've been on a remarkable journey, and I've discovered the one thing that has completely transformed my life. I've gone from zero to financial freedom, and I'm here to tell you that it's possible for you too. This one thing is a powerful tool that has helped me build my business, grow my wealth, and achieve the financial freedom I've always dreamed of. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but a sustainable, long-term strategy that has worked wonders for me and countless others. So, what is this magical one thing? It's none other than the power of education and knowledge. By investing in myself and my education, I've been able to unlock the key to financial freedom. Now, I know that everyone's journey is different, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution, but I truly believe that education is the key to unlocking your potential and achieving your financial goals. Managing your finances unfold in your life. As a millennial, saving money can seem like an impossible task, but it's more crucial than ever. With the rising costs of living, student loans, and financial uncertainty, finding ways to cut costs and save is a top priority. Many of us are struggling to make ends meet, with student loans and high living costs making it tough to get ahead. I mean, think about it. We're not just paying for our daily expenses, but also trying to chip away at those massive loans that seem to be accumulating interest faster than we can pay them off. And let's not forget about the rising costs of housing, food, and transportation, which are making it harder to save for the future. The daily grind can be overwhelming, with expenses piling up, and it feels like we're just trying to keep our heads above water. Groceries, transportation, and entertainment costs are adding up quickly. Millennials are often forced to prioritize short-term needs over long-term savings goals, but there's hope. By making a few simple changes to our daily habits and financial routines, we can start building a more stable financial future. So, what can we do differently? For starters, we can leverage technology to our advantage. Budgeting apps like Mint, You Need a Budget YNAB, and Personal Capital can help track our spending and stay on top of our finances. Meal prepping and cooking at home can save us around $500 to $700 per month on food alone. Cutting unnecessary subscriptions, like streaming services or gym memberships, can free up even more cash. And let's not forget about the 50-30-20 rule, allocating 50% of our income towards necessities, 30% towards discretionary spending, and 20% towards saving and debt repayment. One hack that has personally helped me save a significant amount of money is using the envelope system for discretionary spending. By dividing my expenses into categories like dining out, entertainment, and shopping, and allocating a specific amount of cash for each category, I've been able to reduce my impulse purchases and stay within my budget. For instance, I used to spend around $200 per month on dining out, but by using the envelope system, I've managed to cut that down to just $50. That's a savings of $150 per month, or $1,800 per year. First up, we've got a simple yet effective tip. Start a savings account. This is a great way to set aside money for future expenses, like that dream vacation you've been planning. Next, we suggest using cash instead of credit cards. This will help you keep track of your spending and avoid those pesky interest charges. Another great tip is to cut back on your monthly expenses. Look for ways to reduce your bills, like switching to a cheaper phone plan or finding a better deal on your internet service. Lastly, we recommend investing in your future. Whether it's starting a business or investing in the stock market, this is a great way to grow your wealth and secure your financial future. Living well on a budget might seem like a myth, but I'm here to tell you it's totally possible. You don't have to overspend to enjoy life. With a little creativity and discipline, you can have it all without draining your wallet. It's all about making conscious choices and finding ways to make the most of your money. One of the biggest hurdles people face in trying to budget is unexpected expenses. You think you've got it all figured out, and then your car breaks down or you get a medical bill. It's like, where did that money come from? Another challenge is the temptation to overspend. You're scrolling through social media, you see all these amazing things, and you just want to treat yourself. But treating yourself can quickly turn into a habit that's hard to break. Then there's the fear of missing out. You see your friends going out to fancy restaurants or taking exotic vacations, and you feel like you're missing out on all the fun. But let's be real, most of the time, those people are just as broke as you are. They're just pretending to be okay. And lastly, there's the lack of knowledge. You might not know where to start or how to make a budget that actually works for you. To overcome these challenges, you need to get real about your finances. Start by tracking your expenses. Write down everything you spend, no matter how small. This will help you identify areas where you can cut back. Next, prioritize your needs over your wants. Be honest with yourself. Do you really need that new phone, or can you make do with what you've got? Another strategy is to find free or low-cost activities. Instead of going to the movies, have a movie night at home. Instead of buying expensive gym memberships, find free workout videos online. You can also try cooking at home instead of eating out. Not only is it healthier, but it's also cheaper. And let's not forget about saving. Try to save a little bit each month, even if it's just $10 or $20. I've got a friend who was struggling to make ends meet. She was working multiple jobs just to keep up with her bills. But then she had a breakthrough moment. She realized that she was spending most of her money on things that didn't truly make her happy. So, she made a change. She started tracking her expenses, cut back on unnecessary spending, and started saving. So, let's dive right in. Our first tip is to create a budget plan. This might sound obvious, but it's crucial to know where your money is going. By creating a budget, you'll be able to identify areas where you can cut back and save. Our second tip is to cook at home. Eating out can be expensive, so try to cook your meals at home. This will not only save you money, but also help you eat healthier. Our third tip is to use coupons and discounts. Take advantage of sales and promotions to get the most out of your money. And lastly, our fourth tip is to save. Even if it's just a small amount, start saving now. You'll be amazed at how much you can accumulate over time. Millennials face a unique set of financial challenges. For one, student debt is a major burden for many. The average student loan debt in the US is over $30,000, and it can take years to pay off. Additionally, living costs are skyrocketing, making it difficult to afford basic necessities like housing, food, and transportation. Many millennials also struggle with saving money, with some studies suggesting that nearly 60% of millennials have less than $1,000 in savings. The lack of financial education and resources can also be a significant obstacle. Many of us weren't taught how to manage our finances in school, leaving us to figure it out on our own. And, with the abundance of financial products and services available, it can be hard to know where to start. To make matters worse, the pressure to keep up with the latest trends and lifestyle can lead to impulse purchases and overspending. These financial challenges can have long-term consequences, such as delayed adulthood, reduced financial stability, and increased stress. It's no wonder that many millennials feel anxious about their financial future. But there is hope. By learning simple budgeting hacks and making a few lifestyle changes, you can take control of your finances and achieve financial freedom. One of the most effective budgeting hacks is the 50-30-20 rule. This means allocating 50% of your income towards necessary expenses like rent, utilities, and groceries. 30% goes towards discretionary spending like entertainment, hobbies, and travel. And 20% is set aside for saving and debt repayment. Another hack is using budgeting apps like Mint or You Need a Budget to track your expenses and stay on top of your finances. Tracking your expenses is also crucial in making sure you're staying within your budget. It can be as simple as keeping a spreadsheet or using a budgeting app. The key is to be consistent and honest with yourself about where your money is going. You can also automate your savings by setting up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings or investment accounts. Take the story of Sarah, a 28-year-old marketing specialist who was struggling to pay off her student loans and save money. She was making around $50,000 per year, but was barely covering her expenses. After learning about the 50-30-20 rule and starting to track her expenses, Sarah was able to make significant changes to her financial habits. First up, let's talk about the 50-30-20 rule. This simple budgeting method divides your income into three categories: 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings. Next, let's tackle the 24-hour rule. This handy trick helps you avoid impulse purchases by waiting 24 hours before making a purchase. Another great tip is to set up automatic savings. By setting up a small amount to be transferred into your savings account each month, you'll be surprised how quickly your savings can grow. Achieving financial freedom is a dream for many of us. It's about living life on your own terms, without the stress of debt or the anxiety of making ends meet. Imagine waking up every morning with a sense of security and peace of mind, knowing that your finances are in order. That's what financial freedom is all about, and it's within reach. For many of us, financial struggles are a harsh reality. Debt piles up, savings dwindle, and living beyond our means becomes a habit that's hard to break. The stress and anxiety that come with it can be overwhelming. I've been there too, feeling like you're stuck in a never-ending cycle of paycheck to paycheck, with no way out. But the truth is, you're not alone. The problem is that we're often not taught how to manage our finances effectively. We're not shown how to create a budget, invest our money, or build multiple income streams. As a result, we struggle to make ends meet, and financial freedom seems like a distant dream. But what if I told you that there are simple, yet powerful strategies that can help you break free from this cycle? So, what can we do about it? First, we need to take control of our finances by creating a budget that works for us, not against us. This means tracking our expenses, identifying areas where we can cut back, and making conscious spending decisions. Next, we need to start investing our money, whether it's in a retirement fund, stocks, or real estate. And finally, we need to explore ways to generate passive income, such as starting a side hustle or investing in dividend-paying stocks. My personal breakthrough moment came when I realized the importance of living below my means. I was making good money, but I was also spending it all, and then some. It wasn't until I started tracking my expenses and making a budget that I began to see a change. I started to prioritize my spending, cut back on unnecessary expenses, and focus on saving and investing. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. First up, let's talk about the power of compound interest. It's like a snowball effect, where your money grows exponentially over time. The key is to start saving and investing as early as possible. Next, let's discuss the importance of having a budget. It's not about restricting your spending, but about understanding where your money goes. This way, you can make informed decisions and save more. Lastly, let's not forget about the importance of diversifying your investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread your investments across different sectors to minimize risk and maximize returns. Remember, financial freedom is a journey, not a destination. Keep learning, keep saving, and keep investing. Thanks for tuning in. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more financial freedom tips. Cheers to your financial success.